Hey, parents of both CP and honors biology. My name is Bennett Ahern. I'm the teacher for your kids this trimester for their respective classes. I'm just going to go over real quick a little bit about me, introduce myself. I think many of you I've already sent a video to showing you the nuts and bolts of the class, but we've been asked to make this video, so I'm going to do it again real quick. So again, I'm Mr. Ahern. I teach CP and honors biology, as well as forensics 1 and 2. You can see my contact information provided here. It's my school email account and the way to reach me at school. A little bit about me when I'm not teaching, things I like to enjoy. At home, I have a smithy where I do blacksmithing as a hobby. I also tend to my chickens, my flock. I raise bees. I do some beekeeping. That's my apiary right there. I'm a woodworker. That's a table I just finished for my wood shop for outfeed for my table saw. I'm a dungeon master and avid Dungeons and Dragons player. Very recently, the house we bought had a big hole in the floor, and it used to be apparently a hot tub, so we bought a brand new one. This is Mrs. Ahern in our new hot tub. And most evenings, that's where we can be found, unwinding after a long day. I also enjoy rock hounding. Rock hounding is a hobby where you go out, you do a lot of research, looking over United States Geological Survey maps to find known deposits of minerals and fossils, and then you would venture out into the wilds and try to find cool stuff. This is me with an ammonite. They're ancient nautilus type creatures, the size of a car tire that I found and pried out of a cliffside. This was actually in Wales, the UK. But yeah, it's a very fun hobby. I also enjoy making ice cream in the summertime as part of the family business. So if you're familiar with Downriver Ice Cream, that's us. That's me. I make the ice cream there. And oftentimes I provide prizes to students in the form of ice cream. It's a great incentive for not just kids, but I find for most humans. I graduated college undergraduate degree at Montana State University in Bozeman, go Bobcats, where I studied environmental science as well as fish and wildlife biology with a minor in French. And then went on to get my master's degree at Gordon College for education. This year is unique, as we're all very well aware. There's a lot of challenges that come with being remote and hybrid. There's technical difficulties we might have. There's scheduling difficulties. There's communication problems. There's, in the past, I would stay 2 hours after school every day, and I'd show up an hour early every day, and there was so many opportunities to get a hold of me for extra help. That's very difficult this year. So kids can schedule with me remote. If they need extra help, I'll schedule a remote session for that. Sorry, my cat is beating the poop out of his mouse toy. It's making a lot of noise. As well as it's really hard to schedule in class time if it's at all even possible, just with the nature of this pandemic. We've all had to adapt and to demonstrate an ability to adapt to a variety of situations and circumstances. And, your kids have shown a remarkable resilience to the situation. It's incredible to see them every day, generally fairly upbeat and ready to kind of tackle what's in front of them. I truly believe that we all, and they will certainly come out of this a lot stronger than they were going into it. So that resiliency is something we try to teach in class, but there's no better way to learn it than to live it. And that's what's happening now. So for me, how I've had to adapt is to show a lot of leniency when it comes to kids and assignments and work. There's not just the amount of work that might be stressing them out, but there's a lot of just psychological and emotional difficulties that we're all facing right now. And so my job is to hold them to expectations while also showing them the leniency that they need in order to be successful. So the understanding for them is that if they ask for extra time or extra help, I'll always grant it to them, but my expectation is that they will complete the task that I've given them. So I hope at this point they've come to understand that I'm a very understanding and forgiving individual, and that I'm here for them if they need to talk about anything. So I've been trying really hard to build that relationship with your kids this year, because In the past, it's come easily. It's just they show up every day, and that connection just gets made. But it takes work in a situation like this, and I feel like I've been putting in the work, and I think that your kids are, coming around to seeing me as an ally and not, somebody who's just in charge and in front of them. So, in any case, a little bit about the course and class expectations. When virtual, like remote settings like this, or on the asynchronous hybrid days in class, the virtual setting, I expect them to all be present, to be respectful, and to also be accountable. It's tough. We can't make them turn their cameras on, and I love that with most of the kids, their cameras are on anyways. They're engaged. They're fighting themselves or fighting with each other to answer the questions that I post to the class. It really feels like a physical in-person class, and I know that they're not enjoying it because it requires them to be sitting on their butts for 6 hours a day. I feel it too. I'm not enjoying it either, but I feel like with the work we put in, it's as close to a physical class as it can be. I can see the learning happening. It's not like it was last year. Last year, we were all caught off guard, and it was very much just like everybody gets a pass and, just basically try to keep things together. But this year, going into this with clear expectations and clear consequences, I feel like the kids are much more open and willing to treat it like an actual classroom. So I see learning happening. I'm feeling very positive about the situation. And I think that, for the most part, your kids will finish freshman biology being just as informed and knowledgeable on the subject as if there weren't a pandemic at all. So, um, accountability, I always give them the benefit of the doubt. If there's technical issues, if they can't access something, I'll always give them the extra time, but they are accountable for eventually getting that work to me. In the classroom, I keep a very tight ship when it comes to safety protocols. My father just had open heart surgery. My wife's father just had open heart surgery. They're both extremely high risk. Um, and I don't mess around with that because I do want to continue to see them. And so I make sure that I'm not putting myself at in unnecessary risk by kind of making sure that the expectations in the classroom are that we all maintain the safety guidelines. We're all 6 feet apart. We're all wearing masks at all times, unless it's an official, like, snack break or something like that. The chairs have taped squares around them on the floor that indicate where they need to be at all times, 6 feet at least apart from each other. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Those seats cannot be moved. Kids are expected to not get out of their seats to interact with others or with myself unless they've been granted permission, like to go to the bathroom or something like that. It sounds really strict, but these are the things we need to do to guarantee that the high school stays a safe environment for your kids to be in, which is our priority, really. So, moving on. Synchronous remote days, what do they look like? All students are expected to meet in the Google Meet at the expected time, just like a regular class. They're supposed to be in class at the time the class starts. I always link the agenda to the master home-based document that's posted at the top of the Google Classroom every day, so they know to start there. They should never come in going, what are we doing today? It's always start with the classroom, open the home-based document. You see a clear bullet point list of all the expectations and the steps of the things that we're going to be doing in class, as well as the links to the digital versions of those activities and notes and information. So if a kid can't make it for whatever reason, maybe they have a doctor's appointment or some other obligation that they're going to, there's always a mirror image of what we're doing in class that day posted to the Google Classroom, as well as on the remote agenda. So if a kid can't make it, they can basically do that lesson on their own when they're able to do it. If we're doing an active review or any sort of active class, kids are expected to be engaged and participating. That's why I really try to encourage them having their cameras on. I know that we can't hold them to that, but it's really tough for me as a teacher. Imagine staring, you're all familiar with what a Zoom meeting or what a Google Meet meeting is like. Imagine staring at, instead of people's faces, black screens with a couple words on them. It's really disconcerting as a teacher. I feel like I'm speaking into the void at times. If I have a class whose students don't feel like sharing the cameras for that day, again, I know it's whatever makes them comfortable, but I'm trying to encourage that as a way of participating. So if I ask a question, they're expected to respond. it's common on remote days that kids are doing something remote. For example, I use a software program called Gizmo, which has some fantastic lab experiments and simulations that are very close to, as close as they can be to what we would be doing in a lab if we could be running physical labs. So I do a lot of those. So if you come in and you see your kid and they're not speaking and they're working quietly, generally that's because we've gone over the information and they're practicing it on their own at that point. So um, on the asynchronous days in class, we're doing active learning. We're going over notes or a presentation. We're watching a video clip. We're doing individual practice, or we're holding a discussion, or we're playing a review game. There's never any group work for obvious reasons, and there's never any. We can't do labs this year just because of the physical space constraints and the fact that there's just not enough space for every kid to be doing an individual lab, and we can't have them working together. So there aren't any physical labs today, and I know that that is um, it's totally contradictory to what science is, and it's the hardest part for me as being a science teacher is not having the kids or not providing them the ability to actually flex that scientific muscle, that investigation aspect of this. It's really hard, and so I try to do my best to make that in the form of provide them that in the form of simulations and online activities that are as close as they can be to an actual lab. But again, it's hard. It's not the same. So when they're at home, again, the agenda provides links that are a direct mirror image of what we're doing that day in class. And they're expected to, even though they're remote that day, they should be at their desk doing the asynchronous work during the period in which they would normally be in the class. So, and that is the work is expected to be done at the end of the block. If they don't finish, they can reach out to me and ask for more time. And again, I'll always give them that. But it's up to them to make sure that they reach out. So I'm going to show you really quickly a breakdown of what the agenda looks like. Let's exit that. If you look at, let me see, here's an example of an agenda. Actually, let's go here. Let's go to my drive. Let's go to my agenda for the day for today. So I have it all laid out by days, at least a week in advance for every agenda. Then there's the home-based document. This is what they always start with in the Google Classroom. It gives a link to the all-class Google Meet, as well as the links to the small group meets if we're going to be doing small group work. I always provide a dad joke of the day, as well as then the objectives for the day, a quick kind of warm-up energizer activity, and then what I call the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be doing. So yesterday it was reviewing a lab that we completed and then going over photosynthesis. Today it will be taking notes, watching some video clips, and diving into this new section on cellular respiration for this class. There's always links to the homework assignments, links to everything that we're doing. So this is what the agenda looks like. And now if I go to the Google Classroom, sorry, I've got a lot of tabs up here. New tab, nope, we want a new tab to the right. There we go. Okay, what did I do here? I did move from group. I don't know what that is, whatever. Okay. So if I go to Classroom, here we are. To start. If I go to Google, you can see here's the top link. It's always the home-based document. I keep it pinned to the top. There's a link to the Google Meet. There's classwork that has been assigned and organized by unit of study. They can find all the old assignments and posts here. If they missed anything, it's saved by date. So your kids have full access to everything. They shouldn't have missed anything ever because it's all digital, it's all linked, it's all embedded in every day's activity. So I'm trying to streamline everything. I'm trying to make this as intuitive and simple as possible for everybody involved. And I feel like for the most part, your kids are picking up on this. I feel like their kind of fluency with digital learning has increased over this past trimester. So your kids are fantastic. This trimester so far, even though it's unprecedented, I can genuinely say I've very much enjoyed meeting your kids. They are a good group. I really believe that. And I'm excited to continue working with them. So whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can go back in the video to the first slide and you can see my my contact information. And Yeah, I'm very happy to be a part of North Andover High School. It is a fantastic place to work. I've worked at a number of other districts before, and this is by far, I feel, the most supported here than I have anywhere else. There's a fantastic administration, a very caring and fantastic community outside and inside the school. The science staff that I work with are, again, of top quality. I tell the kids frequently, you're lucky to have any of the teachers you end up with if it's a science class, because they're all just amazing. Anyways, thank you all so much. I look forward to hearing from you in the future.